Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring the works of Kim Yoon-jin, a Korean author. We'll be focusing on excerpts from her novella Boki and her author's note.
I see.
Which I think really gives us such a great look into her life and creative process.
It's so interesting to me that we get to kind of experience both the story itself and then also her own reflections.
It's like getting a glimpse behind the curtain, right into the heart and mind of the author.
Exactly.
Right from the start.
Yeah.
In the author's note, Kim Yoon-jin describes herself as tortoise, not a rabbit. And that really struck me when I first read it.
I can see why.
It just speaks volumes about her personality.
Yeah, what do you think that says about her?
Well, I think it suggests that she's very deliberate, observant, and maybe even a little introspective.
Okay. I can see that. And I bet our listeners who love thoughtful analysis will really appreciate that part of her work.
And that idea of taking time to observe and reflect, it really seems to connect to this theme of perseverance that kind of pops up throughout her life.
Yeah.
And in Boki as well.
Okay, I see that.
It's like that story that she shares about her middle school teacher who praised her writing.
Yeah.
And that single moment really planted the seed for her future as an author.
It's amazing how these small moments can be so impactful.
Right.
It makes me wonder if if you've ever had any experiences like that, listener.
Oh, yeah.
Where a little bit of encouragement kind of ignited
a
passion within you.
Oh, that's such a good question.
Yeah.
It makes you think about the power of those who believe in us, even when we might doubt ourselves.
Right.
And speaking of belief, I can't get over that comment from Kim Yoon-jin's mother at her awards ceremony. She said, "Even a grub has its talent."
That's right. Right.
Interesting.
It's not your typical,
not at all,
congratulatory message, but it's so raw and honest and ultimately incredibly encouraging.
I can see that,
it speaks to that universal truth.
Okay.
That everyone has something unique to offer the world, even if it takes time to discover what that is.
Right.
It reminds me of that quote, "Bloom where you're planted." But with a distinctly Korean twist.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it leads us perfectly into the world of Boki.
Okay.
So the story introduces us to this young girl, Boki, and her family, who are forced to move to the countryside.
I see.
After her father,
Okay.
Kim Won-tak, loses an election.
Okay.
And kind of falls into financial hardship.
So right from the beginning, there's this sense of foreboding.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's highlighted by that Buddhist monk.
Oh, yeah.
Who warns them against the move.
Right. And predicts misfortune.
Right.
For the whole family.
Yeah, especially for Boki.
Especially for Boki.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful example of how she weaves those elements of Korean folklore and spirituality into her narrative.
It adds this layer of cultural richness that I think draws the reader in.
Absolutely.
Like you're getting a glimpse into a different way of seeing the world.
And things do take a turn for the worse.
Oh, no.
So after the move, Boki's older sister, Yu Young, becomes possessed.
Oh, wow.
And Boki herself contracts polio.
Oh, my gosh.
The scenes describing these events are incredibly vivid and really immerse you in the family struggles.
You can really sense the desperation in the family's attempts to exorcise the spirit from Yu Young.
Yeah.
It's a window into a different cultural understanding of healing and the supernatural.
Right.
And then there's that heartbreaking scene where the neighbors...
Gaidong Ajuma discovers Boki's paralysis. It's so sad. You can really feel the strain on the relationships in the family. Right. The mother blames the father.
Yeah. It makes you wonder how much of his behavior, listener, is a product of his circumstances versus his personality.
That's a good question.
Is he simply a victim of bad luck?
Yeah.
Or is there something inherently flawed in his character?
We should keep that in mind as we go through the story.
Absolutely.
Even in this incredibly challenging situation, there is a glimmer of hope.
Yes, the neighbor's father, Yang-sun's father, steps in to teach Boki how to walk.
Wow.
Despite her own father's pessimism.
That's amazing.
It's such a pivotal point in the story.
Yeah. What do you think it represents?
I think he represents just this unwavering belief in her potential and his patience and encouragement
right.
stand in such stark contrast to her father's negativity. It's a beautiful illustration of the power of mentorship.
Yes, and belief in someone, even when they might not believe in themselves.
Yeah, his character makes me wonder if maybe Boki's father just doesn't know how to express his love for his daughter.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or maybe he's so overwhelmed by his own failures that he can't see her potential.
What do you think?
I think it's possible.
Right.
I mean, it speaks to the complexity of human nature.
Yeah.
How even love can be twisted by circumstance and personal struggle.
It makes you empathize with Boki even more.
Totally.
As she grapples with these family dynamics.
Yeah, and despite the kindness from Yang-sen's father, she can't shake this feeling of not belonging.
Right. She starts to internalize her father's words, even questioning if he's truly her father.
Yeah, that yearning for a more loving family is so relatable.
It is. It's a universal...
Especially for a child.
Right.
This longing for acceptance and belonging.
And that longing leads her to make a very daring decision.
Oh, really?
Yes. This decision becomes a real turning point for her.
Okay.
And it's one that you won't want to miss.
All right. Well, let's dive into that in the next part.
Okay. Boki hatches this plan to run away, and find her real parents.
Wow.
It's a decision fueled by such desperation.
Yeah.
And just a child's naive hope.
Absolutely. And it's not just a solo mission.
Right.
She enlists her friends.
Yes. Guisuk Yang-sen and Seok Bayu.
Okay.
I can only imagine the conversations they must have had.
Oh, yeah.
Plotting their escape and dreaming of this better life.
Right. It's such a poignant reminder how children, especially those facing hardship, they create these elaborate fantasies as a way to cope.
It's a testament to the power of imagination and the resilience of the human spirit.
Wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Even in the face of adversity, there's this drive to seek out hope and create a better future.
I think that really resonates with the learner.
Yes.
Who we know is always striving to learn and grow.
Right.
Even when faced with challenges.
Yeah, this desire to push beyond our limitations. Yeah. To explore new possibilities.
Exactly.
That connects us all.
Well said. And Kim Yeon-jin really captures this so beautifully.
Yes.
In the scene where they set off on their journey, they pack, roasted barley and rice into these empty milk cans. Yeah. It really speaks volumes about their resourcefulness. Right, and their determination. There's something so endearing about that. I know. It's like this image of... It speaks to their innocence and the simplicity of their dreams. Right. They believe that with a few provisions and a lot of heart, they can overcome any obstacle. But reality has a way of intruding, even on the most hopeful dreams. Of course, as their journey goes on, they encounter hunger exhaustion and this dawning realization that finding their real parents is much more complicated than they thought it would be. Here's where their childish logic and grand expectations crumble. Yeah, and that scene where Guisuk abandons the quest, lured by the promise of a good meal at home. It's heartbreaking, but it's also kind of funny. It's both. It's humorous and heartbreaking. Yes. It really highlights the reality of their situation. Right. For these children, even basic necessities are a struggle. Right. Food is a constant struggle. And it makes their pursuit of a better life seem even more daunting. It's a real turning point in the adventure. Yeah. A reminder that even the strongest bonds of friendship can be tested by the realities of life. Right. And as they keep going, Seok Bayu also gives in to temptation. He can't resist. Can't resist his grandmother's. The bread. Fresh bread. Do you think, listener, this resonates with any experiences you've had? Oh, yeah. Where the pull of comfort and familiarity led you to stray from a path that you once felt certain about. It's a universal struggle, isn't it? It is. Balancing desires and needs. Yes. Our dreams with our realities. And with Guisuk and Seok Bayu gone, Boki and Yang-sen are left to continue on their own. Wow. Their determination is fueled by a mix of desperation and dwindling hope. But even their combined strength isn't enough. No. Their adventure comes to an end. Oh, no. When they collapse from heat exhaustion. Oh, my God. It's a stark reminder of their vulnerability. Yeah. Both physically and emotionally. Right. It's a powerful image. It is these two children driven by a longing for love and belonging, ultimately defeated by the elements.
And the symbolism of their collapse is really powerful. Their dreams of finding better parents are symbolically silenced as they're returned home.
Brought back to the very place they were trying to escape. It's like their grand adventure.
Reduced to just a painful memory.
There's this contrast between the mother's care as she uses folk remedies to cure them and the reality of their situation.
It's a moment of quiet resignation.
Yeah, wouldn't you say?
Their rebellion has been quelled, their spirit's broken.
But it makes you wonder, though, if this experience, even though it was painful, has strengthened Buki. Maybe it's planted a seed of resilience.
That's interesting.
That will come out later.
And that leads us to a new chapter in her life.
Okay.
A chapter where she finds solace and empowerment in a rather unexpected place. So Boki, she finds this really surprising sense of purpose and belonging. When she starts school, it becomes like her sanctuary, a place where she can excel and be herself.
It's fascinating how education is portrayed as this like transformative force in her life.
And it's not just about, acquiring knowledge. It's about finding your voice. Challenging limitations.
I was struck by the scenes where she confronts the bullies.
Oh, yes.
She doesn't back down.
No.
She uses her wit and her intelligence to stand up for herself.
It's so empowering.
She refuses to be a victim. Even with her physical limitations.
It makes me think about Kim Yoon-jin as a tortoise. And how she might have navigated her own challenges.
Maybe those moments of quiet observation allowed her to see the world differently and to find strength in unexpected places.
It speaks to the idea that resilience can take many forms. For sure. It's not always about being the loudest or the most forceful. Sometimes it's about observing, strategizing, and picking your battles.
That's a valuable lesson for all of us.
It is, no matter what challenges we face.
Sometimes the best approach is to be thoughtful and deliberate.
Like the tortoise.
Exactly. Not just charging ahead.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to touch on something that's been on my mind. We've talked about Boki's family and her yearning to belong. But there are other characters who also seem to be searching for their place.
You're right. There's this exploration of societal dynamics throughout this story.
Like Sa-seng.
Yes.
The farmhand with the unusual name.
It hints at a deeper commentary on social class and perceptions of mental illness.
Yes. And that scene where the children encounter him bathing in the irrigation ditch.
That's powerful.
It's a moment of childhood curiosity and shock, but it also speaks to the complexities of rural life.
Those blurred lines.
Yes.
Between innocence and experience.
It's like she uses these simple events to explore much larger themes.
Exactly. And she doesn't shy away from portraying the reality
of rural life.
Both the beauty and the harshness.
It makes me wonder if these characters, despite their struggles.
And their unconventional ways of being might also be grubs with their own talents.
That's a great question.
Just waiting to be discovered.
What?
What do you think, listener?
And I think ultimately that's the message of Boki. It's a story about resilience, about finding strength in the face of adversity.
And recognizing the beauty and complexity of the human experience.
Even in its most challenging forms.
Beautifully said.
And I think Kim Yoon-jin's work invites us to appreciate Korean culture and to see the world through a different lens.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Kim Yoon-jin,
we'll leave you with this final thought.
How does Boki's story resonate with your own experiences?
Of overcoming challenges and finding your voice.
What talents have you discovered within yourselves?
And maybe this deep dive has sparked a curiosity to explore more.
To delve deeper into Korean literature and culture.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.